Shalom friends, it's Rabbi Jenny Solomon here at Beth Myers Synagogue with a Mincha moment. This week is the final stretch as we prepare for the holiday of Passover, of Pesach, which actually begins on Saturday night. And it is also the week of Pesah and Tzav. We read the Torah portion Tzav. So I'm hoping that in this Mincha moment I will be able to connect the two and hopefully add a lens or a metaphor for our spiritual practice that is helpful and inspiring. So in Parashat Tzav, as we begin to make our way further into the book of Leviticus and Vayikra, it is really totally focused on the blood and the guts of the sacrifices, the sacrificial system. But take comfort because our rabbis and our teachers over thousands of years have always taught that this book was not intended, all of our sacred texts were not intended to be taken literally, but actually offer us so much meaning and inspiration on a symbolic level. I'll give you an example. It says that the fire that existed on the altar as part of this sacrificial setup was always to be kept going, an Eish Tamid. Now, unlike a Ner Tamid, the eternal light, which hangs in our sanctuaries, wherever you are in a Jewish sanctuary in the world, you'll see that eternal light hanging over the Ark, where the Sifrei Torah are kept. That light remains lit. Okay, that's a Ner Tamid. But an Eish Tamid, a fire that is ongoing, must be tended. It must be cared for. And so too our spiritual practice. It's not something that we can put up on a shelf, even if we have wonderful memories and experiences of holidays, of prayers, of life cycle rituals. These things, they don't get to be stored up. They have to be taken off the shelf again and again and renewed and reimagined in our experience. We inform them and they inform us in this really sacred, collaborative chain of tradition, which I would love to liken to tending a fire on the altar. And the rabbis also taught that in the absence of a temple, in the absence of a sacrificial system led by the Kohanim, the priests, that our homes become a little sanctuary, mikdash ma'at, and our kitchen tables become the altar, the mizbeach. And I think about this in sort of the grandest sense on Pesach, on Passover, when the seder meal takes place, this ritual of course, food and drink, but even more so prayer and song and conversation and laughter and connection and imagination. And all of it happens around our kitchen table. So while we don't burn an animal on our sacrificial altar, instead, we have a conversation. We share words. We offer up ourselves, our stories, our memories, our hopes, our experiences of moving from narrowness and suffering and constriction to expansiveness and redemption and liberation. And we bring all of those offerings in the form of our presence, our voices, our words, and hopefully, just like that sacrificial altar, transformation happens. Transformation occurs. Hopefully, we walk away from our seder and we are no longer the same. And the people who we've sat with and learned with and ritualed with, they are no longer the same either. There's been a sort of alchemy, a transformation from who we were and what we brought and lifted up and offered to who we are now. And so I really encourage you to think about the seder, first of all, as that sort of spiritual practice of tending the fire year after year after year, and bringing with you those traditions from your family or the traditions you've created, the ones that you love especially, and continue to bring them in and tend them and share them with others. And I encourage you to think about this seder truly as an offering, truly as something that we're lifting up and sharing with one another and tending together in collaboration so that we might transform hearts and minds, most of all our own. We continue to move through challenging times. I'm not sure what times aren't challenging, but these certainly feel like challenging ones. And so I hope and pray that there are brighter days ahead, and that our spiritual practice of nurturing this Eish Tamid that has carried us over time and space, and God willing will carry future generations, that we can contribute to that meaningfully in our own observance this year. All right, friends, shalom, peace, Chag Kasher v'Sameach. May your Pesach observance be truly, truly transformative, and may they help bring greater redemption and liberation to our world. Shalom.